Hi, I'm Nate with Average Jack Archery, and thanks for coming outside with me today as we look at the Bear Species EV Ready to Hunt bow package. So as we're getting stock in for the shop, we're starting to get a lot of these bows that I'm really excited about. Now, we are going to be a flagship dealer so far of PSE and Athens, and as well as some of the budget models there for PSE as well. But we're also going to be bringing in Bear Archery as well as Diamond, and I want to bring some of those bows into the limelight because that is the gear market that I think it's very underrated, and a lot of people really buy those bows, but they don't get them set up right the first time. So my hope with the shop is that if someone wants to buy a budget bow package like this and go kill whitetails across the country or just shoot it in the backyard, that they have a positive review video here, but also a positive shop experience. So we're just going to kind of ramble through this video, vlog it if you will a little bit, as we kind of talk about this bow and other bows that match in this market. So I was really excited to bring in the Species EV for a lot of different reasons into the shop. Number one being the price point for everything that you get on this bow. Everything that you see here with the exception of the arrows, the release that I'm going to be shooting here, and then there's also a wrist sling here that does get attached. I just personally don't shoot with one on, but the peep, the D-loop, the sight with the light, the quiver, the whisker biscuit style rest, everything comes included, and the package is around 420 bucks, right? So you throw in a dozen arrows and a cheap release, and you can be around the $500 mark and be able to walk out the door. Now you'll need some broadheads down the road if you plan to hunt with it, but in terms of a quality bow package built right here in the United States, down in the state of Florida, shipped all over the world. If you're familiar with the Hunting Public, which of course if you're watching this video you've probably seen the Hunting Public before, Ted from the Hunting Public took this exact style bow out, this single cam bow from Bear, and killed whitetails in Missouri and Iowa and Ohio and all across the country, and it's less than 500 bucks, less than 430 bucks really. So it's a really high quality build for it, and I just kind of want to talk about some of the features as we go through it. It is a single cam bow, and if you're watching this video, it's a good chance that you are brand new to the sport of archery and don't know what I'm talking about. What I mean when I say single cam is that a lot of bows today on the market, if not almost all bows, have two cams, where these wheels or cams are not actually perfect circles like this one is down here. They're a little bit more oblong, a little bit more egg-shaped. But in the olden days, we ran single cams a lot because that means we didn't have to time this cam to spin exactly the same time as this cam, because this is just a spinning wheel, right? It's called an idler wheel, and it will move at whatever speed this bottom cam needs it to be. That means we only have one place to adjust draw length, we have one string stop, everything works out really simple and really clean. Now the speeds on a bow like this and the single cams of the past are not that fast. You're talking 315, 320 feet a second. But for hunting 25, 30 yards and in, it is more than adequate. If you're unfamiliar with the Bear Archery brand, they are in cahoots with the Trophy Ridge brand. They're under one roof. So we have all Trophy Ridge accessories here. We have a 4-pin Trophy Ridge sight, the 5-arrow quiver, and then we have the new style V whisker biscuit that they've released. The whisker biscuit, of course, has been around for absolute decades and has been the absolute demise of whitetails from coast to coast. The peep is a rubber tube peep, but that's what you would expect on a budget bow like this, and it can be moved, obviously, with the help of a bow shop that can put the bow in a press and safely move this up and down. I wouldn't recommend you smashing it up and down the string to fit your face. I recommend taking it to a pro shop or obviously buying it from a local shop. If you live in central PA, you can come down to mine, Average Jack Archery in Philipsburg, Pennsylvania. If you can want to buy from the website, you can follow links in the description below if you're interested. But if you can, go into your local shop and actually buy it and get it set up right. You know, if you need a kisser button that goes in the corner of your mouth, you want to upgrade accessories, of course, buy those arrows, release, or broadheads, you want to be there for that as well. They offer the Species in a variety of different camo patterns as well as poundage options. There is a huge range of draw length adjustment on this bow as well, and we'll get to that in a minute. This is in the True Timber Strata, which I'm not gonna lie, I think looks very, very good. I'm a big sucker for kind of the dark green and earth tones, if you will, of a bow. Camo riser bows has kind of gone to the wayside a little bit. They're not getting as much love now as they did maybe 10, 15 years ago, but this True Timber I think looks really good. It's a really nice clean look, kind of a spring look, but also just blends in well with shadows. They offer it as well in the Fred Bear camo, mossy oak bottomland, flat black, and a whole bunch of other different options as well. Going on with the poundage adjustment, this is a 60-pound peak with a 15-pound weight range. So the 60 pounds right at the top, but it can go down to 45, which is, I think, really, really optimal for those of you that might be kind of dipping your toes into the water of bow hunting. You have a pretty good amount of strength already, or maybe you have a really, really cheap compound and you want to upgrade to more of this mid-price point, so you're used to shooting 50, 60, 70 pounds, you can do this as well. So it has a peak weight of 60 pounds down to 45, and they also make models that are 70 down to 55. Just using the card here is a little bit of a cheat sheet. This is a 30-inch axle to axle bow, which is just brilliant for the hunting woods. It really is lightweight and maneuverable. Allows you to get in ground blinds, tree stands, saddle hunting, whatever it is you want to do. As a bug flies into my eye here. Brace height, which is this distance right here, is 6 3/4 inches. That starts becoming very forgiving. It's very nice. It does slow your speed down a little bit to be over 6.5 inches, but who cares about speed? You want a comfortable bow that's nice and easy to shoot. And I would much rather have 6 3/4 than 6.5. And I have a really long draw length and don't mind shooting a higher poundage either. The draw weight range, again, this is really where I get excited, 23.5 to 30.5. So that is 7 inches of draw weight and draw length, excuse me. And all you need is 2 Allen keys here to move the rotating module. You don't need anything new. You don't need anything fancy. You can mess with it at home. It doesn't change anything. The bow still functions exactly the same. You just have to rotate around and follow the numbers and letters on the module. Move the string stop around as well, and you're right as rain. So not only can you get this worked on in your shop, but if you're feeling like you're overextended or you feel like you're really scrunched, you can even change it as well and not have to panic that you're screwing something up. So right out of the factory, this bow is set to 29 inches and the peak weight of 60 pounds. It is wound all the way in. And I love Bear bows because on the back of the riser, they usually have a sticker, this one does, that tells you exactly how many turns you can take out of the limb bolt. Maximum is 10 turns, which is brilliant. Every manufacturer is a little bit different. Elite for a while was only 2, Athens is 4, Hoyt is 5, Matthews is 6, whatever the numbers may be. But Bear puts it right on a bright orange sticker right on the limb, so it's absolutely idiot proof. You know how many turns out you can take it safely, so that way if you need to lower your poundage, you don't accidentally go too far and blow the whole bow apart. So we're going to take a couple of shots here. I'm just going to use my standard hunting arrow. This is a 300 spine, Sirius Supernova 2.0. It's nothing fancy. It's definitely too stiff. Shooting 60 pounds at a 29-inch draw out of a single cam bow like this, you probably want a 340 or 350 spine, and your local shop can set you up with that. But I really just need to throw some carbon down range here into this target. I just kind of want to get used and show you the draw cycle, how this bow feels, and so on and so forth. Oh, 60 pounds feels like nothing out of a single cam. So let's go ahead and show you how I let this bow down. And you can see it's already starting to go a little bit, but you notice how it's not a rocket ship, right? I have like a solid inch. I'm not even having to hold back that much weight when I get back here. It's probably close to about 80% let off. So I lose 80% of the peak weight. So I'm holding 20% of the peak weight of 60 pounds right now. But you notice it's a very smooth transition here. It's not a big jump, and I can even very carefully let that down. Now I'm used to shooting 60 pounds, 70 pounds, so I can definitely handle that weight range. But if you're new, that's really nice to not have a bow that has this big drop off, so it'll come back, right? And there's not like this big boom where all the weight just goes away to get to that 80% let off, or even higher with some other bows. It has a generous, what's known as a valley. You get back there and you have a lot of that wiggle room back here, which is this space right here, which is that, you know, that inch there. So you have a little bit of forgiveness. You draw back on a buck, you're shaking a little bit, you lose a little bit of slack back here. It's not just gonna wanna just take off on you like some other bows will. So let's take a shot here and kind of get a feel for the vibration. Unfortunately, the bow is loaded up, so it's probably gonna be a little bit on the loud side. I take that back. That was incredibly quiet. I'm gonna take the quiver off because I don't like the balance of it. That actually was incredibly quiet. I didn't give it enough credit there. This arrow weighs about 466 grains, so nothing outlandishly heavy whatsoever. And this draw length's about 2 inches too short for me. Yeah, I actually took the quiver off, and then this little bracket here is able to wiggle a little bit, so I got a little bit of noise there. I'm gonna put it down. Just a great quality, all-inclusive compound bow package. Now, you might be asking yourself, if it's so great, where does the money get cut, right? Because flagship bows are $1,000 just for the bow. So where are they cutting corners here? Well, it's really not a corner cutting as much as a different material production. So for example, the strings are not gonna be as expensive, right? They're not gonna be as expensively made, high tolerances, etc. You might notice fraying a little bit sooner. You might notice that these actually look a little bit thinner if you compare them to, say, a flagship string that's hanging on a rack right next to it. You know, they don't have a roller slide here with the cables. The limbs are built by Bear. Bear is the only company that uses these limbs. So that helps them save a little bit on the in-house cost. This is actually a cast riser, not a machine riser. So most flagship level bows, they're actually forging the riser and then they're CNC machining it, putting it in brackets and braces at different angles to get it really clean and really nice. This is actually a cast riser. Now, for those of you that are old enough to remember cast risers when they actually could just blow up in your hand, that is not the case of cast risers as today. Also, a lot of the components here with the anodizing, they're just not going to look as clean, right? I can see some machining marks and some scratches here and there, but it's still black. It's still a bow and it still fires arrows downrange, no problem. So that's where you're going to get the corner cutting, if you will. You're going to kind of get a mass production, but I mean, it puts arrows down into a target. What more can you ask for? It just feels really good to shoot. I'm going to pull these arrows and shoot them again. It really did used to be the case that if you got a budget bow, let's say 7, 8, 9, 10 years ago, they actually were a little bit on the garbage side compared to the flagship level. A lot of R&D work went into that flagship level. But a lot of companies are starting to regurgitate some of the stuff from like 2010 to like 2015, which was a flagship bow at that time, as now their price point bow, their budget mid-price bow. So you're getting that flagship level bow from 5, 10 years ago, now as a mid-price package. So you're getting a lot of high quality still. Of course, Bear's been around forever, known of course for Fred Bear and his traditional bows, but now in the compound where they still do make flagship level bows, but I would wager that 10 to 1 they sell the Species and the Paradox and other more of their mid-price bows. They just offer so much quality to them and a lot of good qualities that really just lend to being a good all-around hunting bow. Not to say you couldn't take this out and target shoot with it either. Although I think at 30 inches axle to axle, it's a little bit on the short side to be super stable for long distance stuff. But everybody's a little bit different. Gosh, I just really like shooting this bow. That 23.5 to 30.5, that's gonna cover everybody. I'm 6'4", I have a really long wingspan. I'm a 31-inch draw, 30.5 to 31-inch draw. So I might be able to get away with this bow. But this bow is really meant for, if you got like a 27 to 29.5-inch draw, this is your absolute wheelhouse. And that's basically every man and woman that's built between about 5'8", 5'9", and 6 foot, 6'1". So, I mean, you wanna talk about fitting just about everybody. And if you want, you can have either a 70-pound peak, pick up a little speed, 60-pound peak, a little bit of smoothness out of it like this. I mean, gosh, it just, for 420 bucks, throw in another 100 bucks or 500 bucks or whatever it is to walk away with a package like this and start slinging it at foam and taking whitetails in the woods, I don't think you can beat it. So that's all for this video on the Bear Species EV, the Ready to Hunt package. If you have any questions about this bow or what we're selling or how to work on or anything else, follow links in the description below. You can send me a personal email, averagejackarchery@gmail.com. Find me on Facebook and Instagram, AverageJackArchery, or you can drop a comment here on YouTube for everybody to learn from and enjoy. Hope you're able to get outside, enjoy the sport of archery hunting if you so choose. Definitely enjoy God's beautiful creation, and we'll get to see you next time.